Woodblock printmaker David Bull speaking to you tonight, not from the usual place in the workroom downstairs, but from my office. The workroom is just, I'm sorry, too messy and chaotic for a public viewing at the moment. I'm here tonight to show you the first test print of the next design in Jed's Ukiyo-e Heroes series. It's another dark and dramatic one, and perhaps it's appropriate that it will be on the way to the collectors later this month, early in October, just in time for Halloween. The print I have here is from the first trial run that we did yesterday. You may notice that I say we, and for the first time in this series, I myself did not do the test printing. As you watch this video over the next few minutes, you might notice that the arms doing the printing are most clearly not my skinny ones, but are those of a strong and powerful Japanese printer. I'll explain at the end just what this is all about, but first, let's watch this print come alive for the first time. I had arrived at his workshop at 9 o'clock in the morning by appointment, and it was interesting. I had a few sheets of paper moistened with me so that we didn't have to wait for that to be done. And he took them from me right away and put them into his workbench, and then after no more than, say, 3 or 4 minutes of looking at the sample print and the blocks, he just sat down and got to work. Bang, bang, bang. And I had barely time to get my camera set up and ready for that before he had done the first key block already. Among the things that he and I had to sort out before he started was the question of what kind of pigments to use. Because he's a professional printer for hire, he has a cabinet full of all kinds of pigments, traditional ones and modern ones. I had to make it clear to him that we are going to use only Edo-era type traditional pigments. In other words, we're going to work with a yellow and a couple of blues and a red plus black, and from those bases we will make all the other colors needed in this print. And actually this made him pretty happy because that's the way he really likes to work as well. Here's the first of the background base tones going on. If you've seen some of the previous videos in this series, you understand how this works. The key block is always done first, and then we start simply filling in colors. Some of it's sort of a color by zone, they fit inside the lines, and other ones like this tone are a base that goes across different areas of the print. The color he's mixing here with this quite deep red with some yellow toned in is actually going to be for the skin tone. And it's a demonstration of how colors, once they're applied to a woodblock, even though they're quite deep and rich in the bowl, can become quite thin and tinted once they're put over the wood and printed on the paper. This guy won't be red, of course, he will be a pink. And this is another example of color underlaying. The color goes on the skin areas and the armor, where it will underlay a deeper, richer color later. Here now we see how more of the color overlaying works. And the whole top area of the print was printed with a sort of a gunmetal gray, a steel gray. And now we're printing the area around the outside of that vampire character. And if you look back later at the earlier part of this video and look at this, the gray of that character that was then and the gray of this character now, it looks completely different. It hasn't changed, but because the outside has become darker, the gray now looks much, much lighter. This is the block for the area that's going to be the fire zone in this print. And we're going to print it 3 times. First with a base yellow over the whole area like you see here. And then over top of this will be 2 gradations coming down from the top to create the reddish fire tones. Here's the first one. He moistened the block with a circle of damp cloth. Now he's going to use circulations to put the pigment in, bringing it down with what we call a bokashi in Japanese, a gradation, so that it fades out to nothing. And now the third of the 3 impressions, a tinge of red just at the tip of each of the flames to brighten them up a bit. In a normal edition printing, we wouldn't do these 3 in a bang, bang, bang just after the other because the paper gets too wet and saturated and the impression doesn't look very good. But today's idea isn't to make perfect prints to send to collectors, it's just to get an idea of how the color balances are going to work. So some of these samples you'll see here are a bit blurred and watery, but well, that's what test printing is all about. This is a real multi-purpose block. It provides, let's see, it's the color of the skeleton, which we'll show in the final print. It's a base tone below the rats. It provides the stripe pattern for his shirt. It puts a pattern below the hexagons on his trousers, and it'll put the bones into the vampire, all with one block. All the way along through the process here, we're checking carefully with one of Jed's original printouts, and we're not trying to slavishly copying it because that's a computer printout and this is a woodblock print. But of course, we're following as closely as we can in his original guide. Here's another gradation. You saw the curved motion going in there. This is a bit of a darkening at the top of the print, and there's an interesting effect that will come out from it. By darkening just the top, but not the part behind the vampire's head, we will see a light, a glow of light coming from behind the vampire. And light in woodblock prints is not created by putting on bright colored stuff. It's created by making the surrounding area darker. When he pulls this off, have a look at the effect. It's very, very interesting. This red block provides a bite, a sharpness to the edge of those flames, and it's interesting. It's got to be registered exactly so that it doesn't slide over too far down or too far up. As you can see, this block uses the same piece of wood as the last one. It's a very small area to put the blood on the vampire. And as much as possible, we double them up, of course, to save wood and to save time and trouble. Later on doing the addition, he will probably print both of these at the same time using two brushes, one for the brown and one for the red. And we're done. What was it? 15, perhaps 16? I can't remember. Very, very happy. It looks very, very close to what Jed has done, but it's a real tasty woodblock print. And here we are. We've got now 6 in our series. The Rickshaw Cart, the Fox Moon, the Hero Rests, Infestation, the Soul Eater, and now Yokai Dracul. One left to go in our Kickstarter fulfillment. So about that printer, and those video scenes weren't shot here in this workshop. In our own workroom, we now have 5 people working as printers, plus 2 more on the packing and shipping bench. And none of those people are full-time. They're all women, some young single girls, and some married with a family. And we are running them off their feet. During the past few days, 3 they've been working extra time doing the Ukiyo-e Heroes printing for this month's edition, trying to get it out of here on time. And the other 2 have been working making stacks of prints to back up Jed's 8 Superstar campaign. In addition to those 5 printers, I've been using the services of 2 experienced men, freelance workers from Tokyo. And actually both of those men are busy on more Ukiyo-e Heroes prints as I speak, doing more editions to try and keep up with the orders that are coming through Jed's web shop all the time. So for this latest job, I needed yet another experienced printer, and I was lucky to find one, the man who you've been watching in this video. He's not a particularly public person, and he was only willing to let me video the process if I agreed not to show his face and just keep the camera pointed down at the bench. Motorcycle, excuse me. He's a very experienced printer, and about 5 years older than I am, but with much wider range of experience. He's been doing freelance work for 40 years or so, printing anything that comes across his bench. I'm very happy to have him on our team, and I myself learned a lot while I was watching him during this test printing this week. I'm looking forward to the time when he's confident enough to sit with the rest of us in front of the camera and let us meet him. Anyway, that's it for now. The first batch of these prints should be ready in about 10 days, I guess, or so, and we will shoot them over to Jed for distribution to the people who have been patiently waiting now for over a year since the original Kickstarter campaign. Then on Monday or perhaps Tuesday morning, I'll get back to my carving bench and get to work on the next print, the final one that we did in last year's Kickstarter campaign. I'll see you again when that video is ready. Thank you very much for watching all these, and I'm hoping that you find them interesting. Thank you, and good night.